Today we're going to go through a quick caring tips for tomato plants to have your tomatoes plant producing all season long and also ripen up on the vine. And you want to make sure you follow my tips. If you don't follow these tips, you're going to end up growing more leaves. Sometimes you're going to lose your tomato plant, or sometimes you're just going to stuck with a lot of green tomatoes. First thing, we'll talk about the water. If it's 90 degrees, you have to water every single day. Whether you water in the morning time or you water in the evening time. If it's in the 70 to 80 degrees, you could water every 2 days, every 3 days. So I got myself a hose. We're going to put it in the shower right here, right? So we don't water the tomato leaves, by the way. It'll burn in the sun eventually. That's our roots right there, the tomato. So what do you come? You hold it down like this. It's 90 degrees today. So we're going to hold it down 10 seconds. And that's it. That's all I water for my tomato plants in a 90 degrees. If you're 100, I would recommend lightly water in the morning, lightly in the evening maybe, or just overall a downpour, maybe like 30 seconds on 100+ degrees. But if you're watering every 3 days, you could water every 2. But if you're watering every day, look, 10 seconds, you count to 10, and that's it. That's how I water. If you overwater tomatoes, could lead to a lot of problems. Down to fertilizer, there's a lot of different types of tomato fertilizer. I'm just using this for now. You do not have to use this. You could use your own one, or check in the link in the description. I'm going to leave some good options for tomato plant. The other thing, if you see a weed is growing right there, pull it out. Don't let that weed take the energy from the plant. So I fertilize every 2 to 3 weeks. You could either mix this fertilizer with water and dilute it fast, or you could come and look, I just grab a little bit, because if I'm doing every 2 to 3 weeks, what I'll do, I'll put it into the plant and I just literally to the soil right there and mix it in. To get a faster way, mix this in a bowl, a cup of water, and just spread it around there. When I water, it's gonna start break down and give my plant root. It's not a big science project. That's how I do it. I mean, a lot of people are gonna disagree, but everybody has their own way. I've been doing this for a long time and I never had a problem. It's very good. If you're doing it your way and it's good, let's stick to that. People will experience rotten at the bottom, which is the blossom and rot at the bottom of your tomatoes. And that's normally when your tomato cell wall is weak. And the only way to make your tomato cell wall strong is to increase the calcium. Especially if you're growing beefsteak tomatoes, you got to make sure to enough calcium, or else they will have a lot of rotten bottom. And that's which is called blossom and rotten. How to avoid that? Garden lime. Any garden lime, you could increase the calcium. You could even use powder milk, whole milk. They will increase the calcium. You want to do this 2 times a month, or at least 1 time a month. It will raise your soil pH, but don't overput. Get maybe a half a teaspoon, or get a pinch like this, and you could come sprinkle it right there, just like the fertilizer, and you mix it in. To get it faster, as I always said, mix it with water, dilute it first, and get it in there. You have to add calcium. Listen, fertilizer have calcium, but it's not enough. The tomato plant produce a lot of tomatoes. They grow so many tomatoes, big tomatoes. We have to increase the calcium. Trust me, I've been doing it for years. I increase the calcium 1 to 2 times in a month. Especially when the plant is producing so much, we have to make sure the cell wall is really good. Calcium builds a cell wall. Same thing for the human. Calcium builds a stronger bones. What I recommend to do is to prune out some of the lower leaves and remove at least couple of the side shoots, which is the tomato suckers. Tomato suckers, it's always located between the branch and the main stem, this little extra growth part. Leave the top ones to grow, because that will produce another tomato plant and giving you a bigger harvest. Literally, like this one branch out, I let it go, and look, we're getting a bigger, more harvest, more tomatoes are coming out from it. But if you're coming down to fall time, you cannot let all these suckers grow. You have to remove them, literally pinch them out as they're growing, because if we're running out of time and you have a bunch of tomatoes, we need those tomatoes to fully grow before we even get them to ripen on the vine or on the countertop. So timing is very precious. And then if you see stuff like this, look, and then look how much leaves branches I prune out, and leaves I prune out a lot, and I just left this couple up top here, and they're still growing and producing a lot. I know a lot of you people are going to be like, oh, Green Tea, you can't prune out all the leaves to give all the energy. We need all the leaves. Listen, we do not need all these leaves. How much energy do you really need to grow a tomato plant? Do you need a a bushy tomato plant that grows about 20 million leaves, and then you only have 6 tomatoes. Now, we don't need all the leaves. Trust me. If you're new, don't be afraid to prune your tomato plants. Tomato plants could grow too much leaves, and especially if you live in a short garden season and you do not eat tomato leaves, you have to prune. I don't eat tomato. I'm just cracking up. I don't eat tomato leaves. I eat the tomatoes. Tomatoes is delicious. Listen, first of all, we got to prune out a lot of leaves. We got to remove a couple of the lower suckers, right? And then as the plant's growing, it's going to grow more suckers, which is the side shoots. So now you have to think about it. If you have a long garden season, you could leave those suckers to grow. You have a short garden season, you got to pinch out a couple more, because that's what I'm doing. And then when it comes down, so we have a month more before winter, you gotta start remove any side shoots and prune to the max, because we want to make sure our tomatoes reach that full size. You're gonna see once that green is gone, once it's in that light green coming into yellow, that's perfect, because we could also put it in the countertop, put it by the window corner, and it will ripe. So when it comes down to bugs and stuff, you could spray neem oil, mix soap and water, or sprinkle some cayenne powder, pepper, or whatever you got. And then you could manually use your hands and eyes and remove some. Don't always count on like stuff to spray. You could get in here and pick some stuff out. It's not it's not hard. Just take some time, but it's one of the best way to remove, especially if you have like caterpillars and stuff. Use your hands and remove. You see your tomatoes are turning like almost red and orange. You could go ahead and pick this, because now this could ripen up on our countertop. The birds are not going to be coming and eat this. Our plant's going to use more energy to grow the other tomatoes, which will give us a faster harvest in less time. So tomato plant is easy to grow. A lot of people grow them. People love fresh tomatoes. But the problem is most people will plant the tomatoes and they will leave it and be like, okay, let nature, take its course. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that. If you let nature take course here, that tomato plant will overgrow. If caterpillars start coming in there, bugs start coming in, you can't even tell unless it's too late. And then tomato plant is well known for picking up a lot of disease. So for disease, you could use like hydroperoxide or even like baking soda and stuff like that. But to avoid them too, you could also prune off some of the lower leaves. So that's why I tell people, prune off some of the lower leaves. Don't let your leaves touch the soil when you water. That's how you get more kind of fungus and disease and stuff will spread like that. And if you're coming every 2 days and check your plants, you're not going to have bugs or any kind of disease like that, because you're on top of your gardening game. So if you have this problem and you realize it's rotten in the bottom, hurry up and mix some calcium in water, dilute it faster that way, and apply. And even when you apply, it still takes several days to the plant root to observe it and take it up and spread it out to all the tomatoes and stuff like that. So it does take time. So one thing you have to remember in the garden, be patient. Patient is the key. All right, so thank you so much for watching GreenTGarden. Don't forget to comment below if you have any question. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps the video go. Also, if you're new, please click the red subscribe button. It's 100% free. Every time I upload a video, you guys will get it right away. Also click the bell icon. I know it's a lot of stuff, but it helps my channel out. It's all free. We get to reach more people. We get to help more people for free. And there's garden could be frustrated. A lot of plants, it could be stressful, and then sometimes there's new people who are now starting gardening and then they get discouraged. So do not get discouraged. Do not give up. Everything's in garden, take times, and we learn throughout the whole year. And this is why we have channels like myself and a lot of gardeners out here. We do have channels to help other people, so you don't have to like buy magazine, buy book, read up on Google all the time. Sometimes certain stuff that you read up, it doesn't always work with everybody's situation, I feel like. All right, so thank you so much for watching GreenTGarden. I don't know why I showed this tomato, but thank you so much for watching GreenTGarden. I do appreciate everybody who's been watching and supporting my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good weekend coming up.